Yo, what is up, legendary Gotiverse? It is your boy, the legendary X. We are back with another video, guys. It's the second day of June. I do apologize, this video is coming a little late. I was supposed to wake up earlier today. My alarm somewhat failed me. I think I kind of heard it, but also didn't at the same time. I feel like I also need to just buy myself like an actual proper alarm clock at this point, guys. Like, just get one of those really annoying alarm clocks, like loud noise, just to actually disrupt my sleep cycle. Although that isn't really healthy, I should let my body gradually come to an awakening state. But I think just to really maximize and get those early hours of 4 to 5 a.m. where it's actually bliss and peace and quiet, and I'm not occupied with other tasks, even before heading to work or on my days off, because just like me, like you guys, we all have responsibilities, we all have things and tasks and assignments and much more that we have to tend to on a daily basis. But yeah, as promised though, second day now in a row, we're keeping that video momentum flowing. I am going to try to work on my best to upload 2 videos a day. If not, it's going to be a video daily that you guys are getting, minimum, either in the morning or in the evening. Although most likely it's going to be in the morning. And luckily, if I do record in the morning, I will try my best to record in the evening. The only thing is, by the time I get home, it's like 9:30 or 9:45, and by the time I shower and eat, it's pretty late, and so I'm gonna feel tired. I have to push through it, and you guys can too. With those goals, visions, dreams, desires, aspirations, those motives, those intentions, those visualizations, those realities, those concepts and those ideas, and so much more that you have garnered and harbored within yourself and your heart, and that you align and you connect to your thoughts, feelings, your emotions, your perspectives, your viewpoints. They can propagate, accentuate, and elevate your influence, your motive, your notion, your interactions, your behaviors, your reactions, and so much more. And those processes and procedures that you lay out will cultivate and coordinate themselves onward into schedules and routines that you'll fine tune, you'll regulate, and you'll craft and structure and forge it to a certain adequate perception and formula that will be the the trailblazing factor, and also the motivating and determining influence behind that powerful stride and process and progress overall that you're going to be making overall in your life, and a variety of different facets and areas, and what outcomes you want to achieve and obtain. But as much as I would like to keep going on about talking about that, we are going to just do a little bit of recap. Last episode on the channel, or last video, we talked about the human confidence and self-esteem, how confidence within ourselves is conveyed and it's integrated, it's propagated, accentuated, and allocated through the habits, behaviors, tendencies, and actions that we indulge, that we create, that we institute, and that we endorse in our day-to-day lives, and in events, with people, with groups, communities, and what we do with ourselves, and as well as others around us. But also the mindset, the perspective, and the viewpoint that we harbor in our mind with our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, and not only that, but the core values and worths that we hold near and dear our hearts, that we have profound respect, commitment, passion, drive, motivation, determination, so much more integrated. It fuels your confidence, and it elevates it, it propagates it, it accentuates it. Your energy, your aura, when you exhibit a high level of confidence, it is something that's noticeable and it's distinguishable. It's the thing where you walk into a room and people immediately notice you. You don't have to really, say your name or even say a word. It's an aura, it's an energy, it's a sensation that is so powerful. It's emitting, it's attracting. So many people then like to approach you, get to know you, introduce themselves. They want to learn more about you because that energy is contagious. It's positive. It propagates and elevates the concepts, ideas, details, narratives, notions, perspectives, ideologies, concepts, and so much more that you appreciate, you value, and you endorse. And you know, people also can learn to adopt the skill sets, the talents, the behaviors and tendencies in a hybrid manner in their own way to establish a forefront for them to also garner their own visions, their dreams, their aspirations, to perceive that momentum and that formula, to create that recipe that will help elevate themselves and procreate themselves to their dreams, visions, goals, outcomes, visualizations, realities, and so much more that they can then appreciate and value. And it's just a domino effect. It's reoccurring and it's consistent, which is something great. And the self-esteem also ties into your confidence, because what you harbor and what you think and believe about yourself, you know, those emotions and feelings internally, based on and through those coordinated thoughts, as well as behaviors and perceptions garnered towards those narratives, notions, and ideas that you hold within yourself. You build that repetition, that consistency to refine, to be open to learn, to develop, to grow your knowledge, to grow your ability to process information, evaluate things, adopt a different perspective, draw comparisons and distinctions between you as well as others, your family, your friends, groups, communities, and other people. You learn to grow a lot and to appreciate the process, which not only it refines your self-esteem and your belief within yourself, but then it grows your confidence to help express and propagate yourself further out to other individuals. And it just creates that condescending, perpetual, and elevating factor and sequence that helps transcend and transpire you to new heights and levels that you never thought were even possible or achievable, which is something really, truly spectacular and amazing. But anyways, guys, if you guys want to watch more about that video, it's the last video on the channel, I believe. But not to take up too much time. I'm going to try my best to upload 2 videos today for you guys. But not to keep too much blabbling on. I do want to keep the videos a little bit short, not too overly long. I think in the future though, because like I did mention, I'm working on a lot of plans, projects, businesses, procedures, ideas, hustles, and so much more, operations, and a lot of stuff. You know, it'd be cool if we could work on like hundreds, thousands, millions, or billions of things, but I am working on a lot of stuff, just to put it in that perspective. But I am coordinating that structure and that rhythm and that routine. I am working on sort of developing a podcast. This is one of many YouTube channels I have planned, but I think right now it's just focusing on just building a channel, one, growing a community, a group, a large atmosphere of different individuals from different walks of life, and, you know, sharing that same mindset and energy, reciprocating it back and forth. It's very constructive and very beneficial overall. But I'll keep you guys in tune, because there's a lot of stuff in the works. But I just got to really focus on honing in my time. And the same thing for you guys. I hope the same as well. I really hope you guys value and appreciate this time, guys. Remember, boys and girls, men and women, we're in 2026. We're literally halfway through the year now, which is crazy. It feels like January was like only like a month or two ago. But time goes by quick. Remember 2025, 24, 23, 22, 21, 2020. It's already been 6 years. Almost 6 years, or practically. Or even further and beyond. You have a lot of potential, you have a lot of skill, you have a lot of talent, and so much more. Harness it and utilize it, because you guys are capable of doing great things. You have to be persistent and consistent. That's going to build those fundamental building blocks and create that momentum and that structure in your life. Hence what we're going to talk about today: persistency and consistency. These practically go really well hand in hand. They're very similar. I guess one can really say, they're pretty much one in unison. But with persistency, so the desire and will for you to engage upon learning, growing, informing, developing, crafting, forging, elevating, structuring, and conceptualizing, formalizing, and much more in your life in various facets, whether it's in your businesses, you are learning a new skill, you're developing a new talent, you're at your job, your social life among friends, your private life, your personal life with personal goals that you want, your love life with your relationships, or etc., a bunch more things. Persistence plays a very key role, a very fundamental one. The element of persistence: when you have a goal, vision, or dream or aspiration in your life, you have to show persistency. Persistency plays a vital role because it distinguishes you and it allocates you to a certain standard or degree where it showcases the true, raw, potent, influential, and conceptualized version of you, the person, the individual, the character, you, the human being. You also go through life, through various situations and circumstances. You encounter a variety of different things that your persistence is put to test. It is put through an examination. It's put through a structure of constraints, limitations, and a variety of other things. Your persistence is forged, though. It goes through your motivation, your determination, your patience, your willingness, your mindset, your habits, your behaviors, your feelings, emotions, your tendencies, your requisition, your knowledge, your passion, your influence, your conviction, your values, your worth, your fundamentals and principles, and a wide, long list of range of other things that I can keep on listing. But all of those things that I mentioned are conducive around your persistence. Your persistence distinguishes you, noting how you are as an individual when it comes to you reacting or being proactive around certain individuals, groups, or communities, or responding to certain events, situations, or circumstances, and how you go about understanding and interpreting things through your vision, your viewpoint. Then your thoughts and emotions, your feelings, they convey and they endorse, they propagate that that ideal or that value that you hold. And then in connection with your heart, that you harbor that passion, that drive, that motivation, or the outcome that you want, your persistence can grow and it can strengthen because you're being resilient, you're being dedicated, you're willing to learn, to grow, to expand. And although the journey might not be easy, because it will be challenging, nobody said it was easy, it's going to be challenging, because in life it is. And life throws curveballs at you. It takes you into certain areas, or it puts you in certain situations that you wonder, why do I need to be in this? And obviously, majority of the times we immediately assimilate the bad circumstances, because as humans we tend to, by basic common nature, we always assume the worst. But you notice that it's very hard for us to assume the good, the better. We always lean towards the bad or the worst, because our brains, psychology talks about this, like we're somewhat put in a fight or flight mode where the brain assimilates, it interprets, it understands the situation, the circumstance, the atmosphere, the environment that you're in, and evaluates the different choices, the different outcomes, the different steps, processes, and procedures that have to be taken, and it wants to minimize and create the limitation of damage to avoid being put in a very stressful or uncomfortable scenario or situation. And by human nature, it's default that way. But if we somehow can garner that rhythm, that momentum, create that balance, that structure, not allow ourselves to be completely reckless or indifferent, assuming that we're not good enough, or we can't accomplish a certain goal, we can't achieve a certain standard, we can't allocate ourselves to a certain degree. We can propel our way of thinking, our mindset, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions from a negative and pessimistic aspect or area to a positive and optimistic one. And that force, that driving force that carries in persistence, is derived obviously from your way of thinking, your thoughts, your mindset, how you go about viewing the world around you, individuals, people, groups, the situation and circumstances, your feelings and emotions, how you react and how you proact to things around you, how you allow them to make you feel. They convey and endorse and propagate your actions, your behaviors, your tendencies, your intentions, your motives, and so much more, which then leads to effects through causes of those that which are based off of the other two groups of things that I listed prior, which then those causes and actions relay a sequence, a rhythm, a routine, and that flow, that momentum builds. It creates a structure, it creates a formula, a recipe that then structures you and can help you elevate yourself and procreate yourself to a different level or standard or caliber that you never thought was even possible and achievable, whether it is towards your goals, visions, dreams, your aspirations, learning a new skill, a talent, developing a business, getting better with your social skills, your relationship with friends, family, your love life, etc., and so much more. But also your persistence has to be in line with what's good and positive, because persistence can also fall towards a negative and pessimistic aspect, which can be very risky, as it can be detrimental and destructive in your conquest of what you want to achieve in life. In life, we have what's good and what's bad, and as humans, we are taught from a young age of what is right and wrong. Unfortunately, a lot of people aren't fortunate to be brought up in a household or atmosphere or an environment that has the adequate safe haven and sanctuary that allows them to be around a positive and optimistic atmosphere and influence to help nurture and develop those qualities as well as those values from a young age. And instead they're surrounded by a very chaotic and destructive atmosphere and environment that only procreates really negative and pessimistic feelings and emotions, which then harbor into harmful and disdainful actions and behaviors, which then procreates these very weird and odd, mindsets or perspectives about the world, about people, about certain ideas and concepts, etc. Which is why it's very important that your persistence, you structure it and you allocate yourself to harbor and obtain prominent and dominant qualities which are positive and optimistic to help garner and propagate you to a better place in life. Allocating those best practices and those habits and behaviors and tendencies to then forge your ideas, thoughts, mindset, which then carries your feelings, emotions, reactions, and then creates that rhythm, routine, structure, and schedule, which will then carry on to a much more greater, influential, and larger impact, which you'll have within yourself, and you'll subconsciously might not even start noticing, because all at the beginning it could be very difficult and challenging, but with rhythm and routine and consistency, and through your persistence, which builds that consistency, will then fall into a domino effect, which will seem very seamless and streamlined, which will then require no effort whatsoever, because you are one in tune with everything that you wanted to achieve and accomplish, and you are following through, you're staying committed, because although the situation and circumstance can be difficult, can be overwhelming at times, there's always room for improvement, there's always room for growth, and there's always room for learning. You can always adopt a different perspective or view. Always be open for criticism and understanding of why certain people think a certain way about you. Why do you think a certain way about them? Draw that comparison and that in a manner to allocate the similarities and distinctions so that you have a better understanding and interpretation. Through that, you build your consistency through your persistence. And once that consistency is established, it is a powerful and significant tool that just relays, and it just builds and creates, it invents, and it just creates a snowball effect that only grows larger and larger the more you stay in tune and the more you forge and refine what you are creating or establishing, which is just a beautiful thing to see. The journey may be long and difficult and it may be challenging, but understand that the moment you make it, the moment that you achieve that goal, that vision, that dream, that outcome, that thing that you want, it's going to feel very, very emotional, very impactful, very satisfying, very achievable. But always remember that along the way, the journey, the whole process, you learned a lot. You forged yourself. You elevated yourself. You redefined yourself. You established yourself. You created new opportunities, new possibilities for yourself, and you avoided falling into mishaps or misfortunes based on, controllables that you managed, and you did great things along the way. And although every single day there might have not been incremental and massive progress, but there was maybe small or tiny progress with those tasks and assignments that you did on a daily basis, and then weekly or bi-weekly on an intermediate or medium level, then you started to go about larger routines and larger schedules. Then you allocated the long-term view on a monthly or bi-monthly basis, where you started seeing results and outcome. And then eventually, on a year-to-year scale, you start seeing vast, large, substantial growth and impact that just leaves you just completely baffled and just blown away to think that that was even possible. But it is totally achievable, ladies and gentlemen. Well, guys, I wanted to definitely keep talking, but now the video is almost coming up at 25 minutes, so I have to keep it too long. I would love to keep talking about it. Maybe I'll touch on a little bit more persistence and consistency in another video. But thank you guys so much for watching. Go-to-verse. I am working on a lot of big things behind the scene. I'll keep you guys up to date. If you guys are new to the channel, thank you for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. If you guys could please make sure you subscribe. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. That's our first goal of the channel. Leave a like too, and if you please could comment down below a part that you liked about this video, a different thought or perspective you want to share, or just an overall comment. Tell me how your day's going. Hope everything's going well. Yeah, guys. Always believe in yourself. Be persistent and be consistent. I know it's very challenging because every single day we don't wake up with the same energy and that same mindset that helps us drive, because face it, life has its way of bringing us up and also bringing us down. But we have to try to manage things to the best of our ability, regardless of our situation and our circumstances, because there's always something good that we can draw out of the good, but more so out of the bad. Always remember, every single one of you, you guys are special, you guys are unique, and you guys are talented. You guys have a lot of capability and potential. Lock in, folks. Lock in. It's June 2nd, and I'm committed, and I hope you guys are as well with me. We're going to make the rest of this year great. And I'm telling you guys right now, by the end of this year, I'm going to look back at this video. I don't know how I'm going to find it on the channel. I hope I do, so I can just come back to this. But by December of 2026, guys, we're going to try to aim for at least 10,000 subscribers. I have a feeling we can get to 10K. Minimum, by the way. That's not to say that we can't shoot for more, but minimum we're going for 10K. And I know everybody will make the comments and say, or some people would bring up the argument, but the algorithm and all this and that, but you just have to be patient. You just have to be persistent and consistent. Things are going to turn around. Align yourself with God too. He plays a big, vital role and part in your life in making things better and aligning you towards a greater path. Thank you guys so much, Godaverse. I love every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. It is your boy, the legendary Godadex, and we are out. Peace, guys. Have a great day.